All right, what's going on, everybody? This is going to be the first installment of the Chew the Clock podcast. Basically, we're going to be recording about every Friday from here on out. Ideally, going to get this uploaded on Saturday, right before our Sunday NFL kickoff. And basically, what we're going to be doing is just going through game by game, talking fantasy, going over the most breaking news, what's happening in the fantasy realm. To start things off, we'll usually go over the Thursday night football game. And this week, of course, there wasn't a game, so we'll be no, I'm just kidding. It was hardly a game. It was actually not that bad for the
No, it was pretty bad for certain fantasy teams.
But
it was okay. It was just, I don't know. The Eagles were
it's an
just so
NFL
boring.
game.
Same with
It's
the
an NFL
Giants.
game, so we're gonna be watching it regardless of who's playing.
I told myself I wasn't gonna watch, and then I'm watching that entire game.
Exactly, and I mean, I'm glad you did because you see that Daniel Jones 80-yard run. That was phenomenal. So
Must have capped off at the touchdown.
You guys see that stat where it was he almost ran faster than Tyreek Hill, and he was the fastest.
I don't buy into that.
It was the fastest recorded speed from a quarterback since 2018.
It was like 21 miles per hour or something, right?
It was like 21.6 or something. Ridiculous.
I mean, he's not a
so yeah, I
slow
guess
guy.
we'll get right into that game. Does anyone have any outgoing takes on what they think, or any specific players you noticed that are doing anything fancy that you liked?
I know
I know
player I
Logan has
noticed right
Boston
off.
Scott over there.
We can
What do you
address
think
the
about him?
elephant in the room. Boston
Yeah,
Scott,
what's
that guy's a stud.
Oh, really?
I
He's
mean-
a stud now.
I feel like
his
if it weren't
pass-
for one particular play, you wouldn't be saying so much like that.
Maybe. I mean, but it did happen. So, I mean,
I turned the game
know.
off at the end, thinking it was going to be all good. Next thing you know, I'm down 26 from full.
I mean, that's all he's really going to do is just get you some points out of the backfield. I mean, in PPR, I think he's much better, much safer than what he is in a half PPR or standard.
Yeah, I think definitely in a PPR league, when Sanders is out, he'll be a relatively safe flex regarding his receiving work. And of course, he got that receiving work in the last play. He got a nice touchdown. So I
mean,
think it's going to be.
That was a highlight play.
It was a great play, to be honest. I don't know how he caught that.
He just
I
ran
think
away.
even Wentz said he was like surprised that play worked.
I don't even think
Something
Miles
like that.
Sanders makes that catch.
I mean, it was a pretty blown up play. Like he kind of just like ran a little route and then just ran to the corner. Like it was not organized at all. But I mean, got the job done, I guess, and that's all that matters in fantasy. So, one thing I did notice is Deshaun Jackson. Unfortunately, he got injured on that punt return, but on the first drive, he had 3 targets in the first drive, and he caught all of them, I believe. So he got really involved in the beginning. He seemed
He
like
definitely.
back in business, but
maybe 4 weeks from now, you'd be looking to pick him up on the waiver wire.
yeah, right.
He definitely looks like when he plays.
Done.
I mean, he's
when
like
he
34
plays, I
years
mean, he looks
old.
good.
We
Yeah.
pour one out for Dallas Goedert. Picked him up, hoping he'd come off IR next week. Looks like he
I
won't
mean-
be back till week 10.
Richard Rodgers went 8 for like 85.
Yeah.
Like Richard Rodgers from the Pack. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what that was.
Can you explain
there's
that? Ertz
anything-
has done nothing the past 2 weeks.
I think there's got to be
pretty
something else
mind-blowing.
going on with Ertz.
he's hurt, man.
Whether
He
it's
just,
a,
he
I
just
don't
doesn't
know.
look good.
Doesn't.
Maybe he's getting old. Maybe it's a contract thing. I don't know.
I think you want to play good if you're trying to get a new contract.
Yeah.
Maybe he's
Jacob, you got
unhappy with the Eagles. I don't know.
Jacob, you got anything from the Eagles? Any notable standouts?
I think you kind of touched on the tight ends a little bit. I think this team misses Alshon Jeffrey and a healthy, supply of pass catchers because, there were multiple times during that game where I'm watching and Carson Wentz completes a pass and I'm just like, I look at that guy's number and I'm like, I literally don't know who you are. Like, I've never heard of you in my life. Like, and I watch the NFL all the time. So, John Hightower had a big catch. Greg Ward is, you can't start him. Jalen Rieger is interesting. I mean, but at this point, I think outside of, Dallas Goedert when he comes back and maybe Zach Ertz and probably Travis Fulgham, I think you're not really looking at any other options here. I mean, we keep thinking like, oh, like when Deshaun Jackson's back or when Alshon Jeffrey's back. It's like, okay, I mean, how, it's week 7 now. Like how many weeks are we going to be saying this? So, I mean, I'd say.
I was gonna say, I think Fulgham has kind of solidified his position there. He had 11 targets.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
In the past, like 4 games, I'm pretty sure he's gotten at least 10 fantasy points PPR. So I think he's a safe flex from here on out. I mean, he's got that wide receiver 2 upside if he gets that touchdown, just like any other one. But he looked good, and he's kind of like the only reliable guy there. And the funny thing is, he came from Green Bay, which is ironic because they're pretty hurt at the wide receiver besides Devontae Adams. So there's something to think about. Imagine Fulgham with Aaron Rodgers. It's just some things.
Well, what's interesting about Fulgham, I think, statistics aside, it's like if you watch the game, you can just tell that Wentz doesn't really trust anybody else. And twice when they were in the red zone, he threw it to Fulgham, and he was like a foot away from catching it in the back end zone 2 different times. And so if Carson Wentz is going to have this idea that he can trust him in the red zone and he's just going to throw it up to him regardless of whether or not he's covered, then that's worth something, so.
Big shout out to Hakeem Butler getting his first target in the red zone, by the way. Big fan.
4th goal, throw fade to Hakeem.
Apparently now he's a tight end. I don't know. Go figure.
So how about from the Giants side of the ball?
Oh, there's not much there.
Giants?
I mean, what do you if you have anyone from the Giants?
They're running some sweeps and little motion handoffs to Ingram. I mean, I don't know why they're doing this with Evan Ingram. That's not how you utilize the guy. It's kind of ridiculous how
Jason Garrett's trying to make himself look smart.
Must be.
If you have anyone from the Giants besides maybe Devontae Freeman, that's a big maybe.
And Freeman got hurt,
he went down,
so he's done. I mean, for now.
Going into that game, I don't know what you're expecting.
The Eagles
front line, anyone on the Giants.
The Eagles defensive line isn't terrible, and Gallman, I don't know if you guys saw at the end of the game, he didn't look bad. He was breaking some runs off for 5 to 10 yards consistently.
He scored a touchdown.
I thought he looked good before Barkley was drafted, or was it after?
Well, he filled in for him.
I think he came in
games.
last year when Barkley got hurt too. So,
because he's been there for a while now.
So I think Gallman could be worth a pickup in deeper leagues.
Especially in non-PPR too, because you'd imagine that Deion Lewis is primarily the 3rd down back, but I would think that that Gallman's going to get the goal line and the 1st and 2nd down work, so that's worth something.
Yeah, the only issue is Daniel Jones ripping off that 80-yard run. He's clearly the lead running back in that offense over there. Did you guys see John Boy's breakdown of that?
No,
so funny.
How about the man?
Yeah, I think of this entire game, Fulgham's probably the most valuable pass catcher. But I would say that the Giants' pass catchers are kind of interesting because I think you go into last game and you're thinking Darius Slayton's probably the one to own, but then he goes out and has 2 catches for 23 yards or so, and Golden Tate caught a long touchdown, but that's his only catch of the day. I thought it was interesting. Sterling Shepard was really involved for coming off of injured reserve. I mean, he got that touchdown. He had a couple catches aside from that, and I just wonder, for PPR, kind of wide receiver 2 or 3, maybe a flex, if he's going to be worth a pickup next week.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say
Shepard's a beast.
I mean, they're playmakers, but it's just Daniel Jones. You can't trust the guy.
Yeah.
So I feel like from here on out, most Giants receivers are pretty avoidable, only if you're desperate in the flex. Do you guys want to move on to the – oh, go ahead.
Dan Jones been one of the most disappointing quarterbacks this year in fantasy. I was big on him. Dude, last year, towards the end of the year, he was running in touchdowns, slinging it. I was like, this guy's going to take a step forward. Joe Judge, all the media hype around him, and he just looked terrible. He's regressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett effect. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, should we move on to some of the first 10 a.m. games? You guys cool with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, for the first, we got Detroit at Atlanta. So what do we think about that? We got, Jacob, you noted that Todd Gurley had 8 targets for 3 catches in weeks 1 through 4, and then once Quinn got fired, he's got 7 catches on 9 targets in the last 2 weeks. What do we think about Gurley? I mean, he's really been producing this year, surprisingly. I mean, I was personally very low on him. I think we all know that. And he's kind of disappointed.
I mean, I drafted him, so.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a reliable RB2, to say the least, which is surprising from a guy with no knees.
I think just the thing with Gurley is just that starting him is difficult because you're banking on a touchdown. And so really the reason that I wanted to bring this up was because I wonder if we feel a little bit safer about starting him now, that maybe we don't have to bank on a touchdown if he's catching 3 or 4 balls a week. That I think it just gives him a little bit more of a floor. But really the question is, are we trying to sell high based on all the touchdowns that he has, or are we just keeping him? I think that's kind of what I wanted to bring up here.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
And I have a special place in my heart for Gurley.
It's not
that
2017 anymore, man. Come on.
That guy won me a championship, so I always have love for him. But this year, I do like him. I don't love him. I mean, he is a little bit touchdown dependent, but I mean, hasn't he really, for the most part, always been? I mean, you just had a better feeling about him getting touchdowns before.
I think the main thing for him was his receiving work, which Jacob just noted on in statistics that he noticed. He wasn't getting any in the first 4 weeks, and then after Quinn got fired, he's got 7 catches on 9 targets. So I think that's a good outlook for him in the future, that he's getting the receiving work, because that's like kind of how he was so good, because he was multidimensional.
I really
thought
think
Gurley's
that's different.
athleticism looked good.
No, go ahead, man.
Yeah, it's just the knee, I think.
I mean, Gurley's athleticism looks like it's still there. That was my biggest concern with the knee issues and the arthritis.
Mm.
But he's still, breaking yards after contact. He still looks solid to me. I've never been down on the Atlanta offense, and I still think the firing of Quinn makes them even more dangerous.
Yeah, I mean their defense is terrible, so they're always going to be playing from behind. So there's always
like the Dallas
opportunity.
Cowboys situation.
Yeah.
It's weird. That defense was young, up and coming, and then just fell apart.
Dude, look at the injury bug.
Yeah,
I know. Deion Jones,
KZ,
O'Neal,
CSU.
I mean, what's it called? What's his name? Isn't Dante Fowler? Wasn't he recently hurt, or he's been out at least a couple of weeks this year? 100%
something
sure.
like that.
Yeah, it's definitely been rough over there.
Dude, Vic Beasley, that guy disappeared.
I know. He was like a stud.
He's on the Titans
Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Disappeared. That guy was supposed to be one of the best upcoming pass rushers in the league, dude, and just gone.
So the reports come out of camp, he just was like, I think it was last year when the reports come out, he was just kind of lazy. Gained weight at the start of training camp last year, just looked out of shape. Lost his spot. It's a shame.
All right, what do we think? Are we starting Hurst? Are we starting Gage? Is Matt Ryan startable? This offense is very interesting.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's stay on the Falcons side of the ball here. So I think personally, I think you got to go with Matt Ryan as long as Julio's on the field. I mean, in a dome, in a game that's expecting a lot of points, I don't see how you can get away from Ryan this week. He's a plug and play for me. I don't even think we need to mention Julio Jones or Calvin Ridley there in your lineup. So yeah, Luke, as you mentioned, is it Hurst? Is it Russell Gage? What are these next options up here? And how do we feel about them?
I was in big time on Gage, but I mean, after the first couple weeks, I've really soured on him.
There's too many mouths to feed in that offense.
Yeah.
It's just usually that number 2 or 3 guy with Julio always eats, but I guess it's just gonna be Ridley all the time now.
So if Julio's playing, I feel like Gage and Hurst are not really startable. I mean, Hurst, since tight end is so slim, every year you're gonna start him, but Gage, I think, is not startable right now.
And you're starting Gurley.
Yeah.
In this matchup, you're starting Gurley.
I mean, yeah, I agree. What about the Lions, though?
Yeah,
so high candidate, DeAndre Swift. I am not high on that guy.
You're not high on
I'm not high on
I think he's a phenomenal player, but Matt Patricia is just not happening there. I mean, once he left the Patriots, he just who knows what happened to him. He couldn't handle the role of head coach. Maybe who knows?
The Belichick disciples always try to out Belichick.
Never worked.
That's
the only one that's got a shot is Vrabel.
Yeah.
Vrabel, I mean, but he's not like Belichick. Like Mike Patricia, when he's talking to the media, just comes off as this like totally unlikable guy. Yeah. When Belichick does it, it's kind of like, funny because he's actually done something.
Belichick. Like he's kind
of when Patricia does it,
personality, yeah.
Like I don't know if you guys saw it, but they asked him about like his defenses in the fourth quarter, and he bragged about the Malcolm Butler interception. He goes, "I think I got one, so I don't need to be questioned about that." Didn't come off very good. I mean,
how much of that was Matt Patricia? I mean, come on.
I know, but he took credit for it. It's just not a good.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, what do you really think we believe that's him? But I mean, Galladay's obviously you're gonna start him.
Dude, if he wasn't hurt those first 2 weeks and he had a bye, like he's got 7, 8, and 6 targets. He's getting plenty of yards. He's getting touchdown, red zone looks. I think he's definitely wide receiver 1. Even though he hasn't been playing, or he hasn't played the same amount of games as everyone else. Like if he was on pace for the same amount as all the other wide receivers, he'd be up in the category with them, top 10 rest of the season, I think.
But I think right now with Swift, you're just holding on to him and seeing if he can string a couple good games together and take over.
Yeah. You're just seeing if Patricia's going to let him go. I mean,
So, I mean, until then, I think
Adrian Peterson was signed like 3 days before the NFL season started, and he's been the first and second down back. So, I mean,
I think you just try to avoid those two until you get a more clear picture.
Big rest in peace to Kerryon Johnson, by the way.
Seriously, man. I thought that guy was the next big thing.
Another Amir Abdullah.
Yeah. So how about some of these secondary options here? Like, I think Stafford's a good start against this Falcons defense.
Stafford's definitely startable this week. What about Marvin Jones?
Those guys, you always feel all right. Marvin Jones, I mean,
if he's healthy.
I don't think I'm starting him this year. There's something weird about him this year. I don't know.
I'm not starting him either, but one of these days he's going to pop off for his 3 touchdown game, like
100%
every year.
100%, yeah.
I do think T.J. Hawkinson is a good tight end start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like him.
He's just got that athletic ability that he can make a play, and he's definitely a red zone target as well for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this game is going to be so many points scored. We're not really leaning towards any DSTs, are we?
No, I mean, definitely not streamable.
I think we could probably move on.
I don't think either of these defenses are streamable. Like
Atlanta could be playing the Jets, and I wouldn't start them.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah. All right. So how about the next one?
Let's move on to Cleveland at Cincinnati. Should be an interesting game.
OBJ.
Yeah, I kind of.
A divisional matchup. So, you want to read off those statistics, Jacob, about OBJ that you got?
So, Odell Beckham Jr. has yet to eclipse 5 receptions in a single game, and he has 2 games with less than 30 receiving yards. I mean, we knew that he was kind of boom or bust, but I didn't know that it was that bad. And
not like that.
Yeah. So I guess my question to you guys is he an every week must start?
I think unless your team is just stacked, I think he is.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a 2 flex league. I'm starting him every week in the flex.
Yeah.
I think you have to.
I'm not going to have him on the bench when he goes off.
that playmaking making ability just hasn't gone away from him. You saw him in that 3-touchdown league. He ripped off like a 50-yard sweep and just scored. And he looked like he was
not in the right
again.
offense.
Yeah, he looked like he was having fun again. But I mean, when it comes down to it, you just can't rely on Baker. Like that is a run-first team. Like you saw how much they were running before Chubb went down.
Yeah, I agree.
Run, play action. That's just not. I mean, OBJ, you want to get him a lot of touches. You want to get the ball in his hand a lot and let him do things. But that's just not really what's
happening for him.
I think he's the type of player where you need to roll him out and just kind of deal with the lumps that he goes through. So
just hope.
let me ask you guys something real quick. So I'm gonna name a couple players, and I want you guys to tell me if you rather have OBJ or the player that I name rest of season. Okay, and I'll just go around, in order with you guys, and just give me the one-word answer. Okay, so rest of season, would you rather have OBJ or DJ Moore? Go ahead, Luke. Okay, Logan.
I'm taking DJ Moore there.
And Bobby.
I'm just going to point out that if you look at OBJ's schedule, it gets juicy. I mean, I'm talking about weeks like 8 up until the playoffs. He plays the Giants, the Jets. I'm pretty sure like some real low defenses. So honestly, I probably would rather take OBJ.
Okay, next one. I got 3 names for you. So we got DJ Moore. It sounds like Luke and Logan are leaning that way. Okay, rest of season, OBJ or Terry McLaurin?
Ooh.
Terry.
I'm going OBJ there.
I'm going Terry. I
just don't trust Kyle Allen. I can't do it.
I would take Terry over DJ Moore as well.
Yeah.
I would not.
I feel like definitely in a PPR league, Terry, 100%. Because like even if he's got a shitty quarterback, it's like an Allen Robinson type of thing, but less like big, like deep shots. Terry, he's gonna get the targets. I'm pretty sure he had like 14 targets a couple weeks ago. Like, who else is in that offense? Logically, like nobody besides maybe Antonio Gibson, but he's a running back. So like, there's no other receiver in the Washington football team. So
my thing is that with those two players, like OBJ, he might lose you some games, but he's definitely going to win you some games.
Yeah.
But with Terry McLaurin, I don't know if he's enough to sway it either way. I don't know if he's a big enough impact player right now. I thought he was going to be, but I don't know. I mean, they didn't even figure out that quarterback position over there big time.
Yeah.
And then once that, I think he'll become like a top option. But it's just right now, I think he's going to get you mostly 11 to 14. I think OBJ can get you 20 plus at some point.
I think Terry has a safer.
Yeah,
for
definitely
sure.
a safer floor.
I think Terry's a safer, and then OBJ.
So last one here.
Never mind. Continue.
It also can like.
No, I was gonna say I have too much faith in NFL head coaches. You have a man like OBJ who's explosive. You get the ball in his hands, and I just keep thinking eventually they're gonna figure it out. You got to feed him. Maybe some wide receiver screens, something creative, end arounds like they did against the Cowboys. I just haven't seen it, but I'm waiting. Too much faith.
Yeah. I think it also just depends on your team as well. Like, do you have some big-time players like Kamara or something that can help you withstand a low-point game from OBJ, or do you need everyone to contribute?
Speaking of the Panthers, I need CMC to come back big A.
Nope.
Things got 2 more weeks out still. All right, we'll get into that.
Let's fire through this a little bit quicker, okay?
Yeah, we gotta go.
And then last one, okay? OBJ rest of the season, OBJ or Robert Woods? Just one word answer.
No, Woods.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sounds pretty easy.
I think he's definitely higher than Cup in a way, just because he gets more like run, he gets all these run plays and stuff. And you look at his stats, he's got rushing yards in almost every game. So I think that's he's very dynamic player. So.
Safer for a solid chance to go off too.
Let's stay on the Brown side of the ball here, okay? Some start or sit decisions. You're not starting Baker. Don't care about the matchup, and I don't even know if he's healthy.
Can't trust him. You're
starting Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
regardless of the matchup.
Every week.
here's kind of a little bit. It's a
Fantasy
little
wise.
bit deeper. You might not have to even consider starting this guy, but Dearness Johnson is a little bit interesting just in case this game gets out of hand and he's kind of in mop-up duty and he gets, maybe 10, 12 rush attempts, towards the second half of this game if they're winning.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think with the type of stuff Cincinnati's going to be doing, like, I don't know, they're going to be throwing the ball all over the place. So I don't know if it'll ever get that bad.
I agree. You would think that when someone's playing the Bengals, it would get out of hand, but I don't have a lot of faith in the Browns despite their record.
Yeah.
I think you start OBJ. Austin Hooper was ruled out. Any confidence in David Njoku?
I think Hunter Bryant might be a better play this year.
Maybe. I don't know.
Pretty sure Njoku wants to get traded, so I don't think there's any hope over there for him. What about Landry?
I just
not startable.
I need to see it first before I go there.
You got it,
I'm
but
not going there.
Not in the Browns.
I'm having trouble starting OBJ. I don't know if I can start Landry.
Yeah.
And how about the DST?
I mean,
meeting has been upgraded by the host and now includes unlimited minutes. Very nice.
I think you'll probably get some sacks and probably a pick from Burrow, but I could see this game being like if you remember that they've already played in week 2, and that game was each team put up 30+ points. So
yeah, I think it's going to be dependent on a touchdown for the defense for the Browns if they're going to have a good game.
Yeah.
I don't think they're really startable. I mean, Joe Burrow really is. He's pretty good, despite being a rookie. I mean, he's got weapons around him. I guess we'll move on to the Bengals. Is Burrow startable this week?
Yeah.
I really want to start
in a
him,
1 QB league. I think he is.
Is he my first option? No, but
you didn't draft him to be though. You didn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
So I mean.
But if he's on the waiver and you need someone, I wouldn't be too mad about doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Burrow is exciting, and you saw in week 2 when these teams played each other. I believe Burrow had 61 passing attempts. I'm not saying it's going to come to that this week, but another thing you have to consider is he runs the ball all the time, and this team has no Joe Mixon. So
Mixon got ruled out for this week. So I guess we can pivot to Gio. What do we think about Bernard? I mean, I guess he's a flex play this week, right?
Yeah, at least.
That mustache he's rocking is pretty intimidating. I'd be pretty scared to tackle him if I was on the Browns. So.
Yeah.
One of the guys I like a lot is Higgins.
I think he's eclipsing Boyd as the wide receiver 1 in that offense.
To be honest.
Might be.
Yeah.
The thing I've noticed with QBs is they just I know Burrow, I mean, he's targeted Boyd more than Higgins so far, but these QBs, they just have a nick for trying to target just one random receiver. I know Higgins isn't random, he's the top prospect coming out of the draft, but I always see these random receivers just developing a niche with exactly like Fulton, just randomly coming out of nowhere, and they just tear it up. So I think Boyd and Higgins are both definitely startable this week.
AJ Green.
You got to see it. Same thing. Got to see it one more time.
Did we see it last week?
I noticed
as soon as I drop him, dude.
He was lining up in the slot. Is what I think happened, and he goes for 7 for 74. So
as soon as I drop him,
something to look out for. I guess keep an eye on Green. Stash him for now.
Yeah.
Quick thing on Fulgham, real quick. I think if you watch him, he looks like an NFL talent. It's not just
he's definitely got it.
Fluky thing. He looks like a real player.
I mean, he's getting almost double-digit targets.
Yeah, just a quick little thing right there.
And who else is there? So.
All right.
Yeah. So let's move on here. Let's move on to the Titans hosting the Steelers. Quick little little player highlight. Juju Smith-Schuster has 10 catches on 14 targets in the last 3 games. So, about
averaging more TikToks than catches.
It seems like it, yeah.
And too focused on being a movie star or a celebrity rather than playing football.
He's failed to break 70 receiving yards in any game this year. So my question to you guys, and give me like a really short, maybe one word answer or so, is I have 2 questions. Okay, the first one, is he still startable? Yes or no,
Yeah.
Luke?
I mean, he's got a playmaking ability regardless of his production. So I think he's definitely. I think he's still got to throw him in there. But if you who'd you rather start, Fulgham or Juju? I'd probably start Fulgham. So
at this point,
yeah,
a little longer than one answer or one word, but.
Sorry.
And then the second question. Okay, one word. It's going to be a name. Okay, who is the Steelers' actual number 1 wide receiver? Luke, one word.
It's still Juju.
Oh.
Logan?
Depth chart wise, it's still Juju.
What's that?
James Conner. I mean, I don't trust any of these guys to be the one.
Okay.
Do they all have?
I think
ability to?
Go ahead.
Do they all have ability? I mean, it's obviously Juju, but do you have? I mean, all these guys have the ability to do off a certain week. I just don't know if there's the guy.
I think they're falling in love with Claypool.
Yeah, I think that's what you were searching for was Claypool. I mean, he's definitely had that. What was it, 4 touchdowns in one game?
They're drawing up plays for him, and they're in love with him. I mean, I think that's often more important than skill is like how much the Steelers are already trusting him and drawing up plays for him. Dante Johnson's also a sleeper when he's healthy. But.
Yeah, I mean, he blew up the first 2 weeks, and then he's been hurt. He's dealing with other things. So I feel like receivers there are just not reliable.
Mm-mm.
Like you can't start them with any confidence just because Big Ben's just going to – I mean, every other week it's going to be someone new, just kind of like the Chiefs with their wide receivers. Let's see. I guess Connor is a start and forget.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really dived into Big Ben that much this year. Have you guys looked at anything around him? I mean, I guess I feel like they're a run-first team, so
I
yeah.
feel like Ben's just been a lot more conservative than he has been in the past. And, it's helped the Steelers, but a lot more conservative.
I feel like he's streamable some weeks, but I don't know about this week. I feel like this game is going to be surprisingly boring because they're both good teams, both undefeated, obviously. But it could be a shootout. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
Where did you guys leave off on?
Steelers.
Steelers start sits.
Gotcha.
So in terms of the pass catchers, just give me a yes or no. Juju, start, yes, no?
Yes.
You're going to have to start him.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on how your team looks.
I'm not liking it, but I'm doing it.
How about Claypool? Yes or no?
I start Claypool.
Yeah, I'd start him.
Deontay Johnson, if he plays?
Not yet.
Okay. And last one here. He caught a touchdown last week. James Washington, a flyer on him?
No.
Probably not.
I'm not starting those last 2 unless I'm really down bad.
Yeah, I agree. And no Eric Ebron either. Okay. So now over to the Titans side of the ball here. We talked a little bit about Big Ben. How about his counterpart, Ryan Tannehill?
He's kind of looking like a must start right now.
Tannehill's a beast, man. I don't like starting him this week just because Pittsburgh's defense has been so dominant, but he's been unreal. I mean, they're a clearly two-dimensional team. They've got arguably the best running back in the league right now. I'm pretty sure he has the most rushing yards, and just a beast. I mean, you look. I can imagine standing right next to Derrick Henry and wanting to run away.
Yeah, that's not fun. Let alone having to tackle him.
Exactly.
One thing I saw about Derrick Henry, did you know he has the same is Von Miller. He's a running back, height, weight, combine stats. It's insane.
Just kind of unreal.
I think Tannehill's always been I think he's been. So I think this has really been a really good start for him, fresh start for him.
He's just the byproduct of the Gase. You know, he fell a victim to it.
Yeah.
Really back in.
How that guy had the job, though. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no words.
So you're starting Tannehill. You're starting
Henry.
Definitely.
How about
Henry,
AJ Brown?
Forget.
I think AJ Brown's
a beast. He's a beast.
I'm starting any of those three every week if I have them on my
team. Yeah. And then
I think Humphrey and Corey Davis, not safe.
Yeah.
If you're desperate, definitely not Humphreys.
Yeah.
Definitely okay.
Jonnu I think you got to see.
I'm starting.
I think you have to start him, but I don't know how healthy he is.
He's like the tight end 5 on the year. Besides having
he's definitely good.
Yeah, he's a start.
How healthy is
100%. Defense now. I'll start him.
No, you're not starting either of these defenses, I don't think.
Yeah, I would just stay away.
All right, that should be a good game. Looking forward to it. I guess we can move on to Carolina at New Orleans. Jacob, you drew up a little stat about Sanders. He got 23 targets in the last 2 games, which is incredible, with Michael Thomas being out. And Michael Thomas is yet again ruled out for this week, which is some big news.
It feels off with that situation. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
I'm pretty sure
it's weird.
Sanders ruled out?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sanders got ruled out.
COVID, wasn't feeling well.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay.
So
Jared Cook.
I think Jared Cook and Traquan Smith or.
I think you're going Cook there. You know my guy Cook.
I mean, Traquan Smith's not much of a route runner. I mean, that's going to be Jared Cook all day.
It's just who's there besides Kamara. I mean, Kamara can only handle. Yeah. I mean, I think they're definitely going to get up in this game, but Carolina has a pretty good offense regardless. So I think it could be a shootout, really. So
I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers win this game.
Panthers are good, man, and I mean, Mike Davis has been tearing it up. Even
I just think the Saints are severely flawed.
Yeah.
So
let's stay on this.
Is Breeze even startable anymore this week? I mean,
I wouldn't.
I don't think he is really.
All on the Drew Brees train.
Thomas, who knows if that guy's even going to be in New Orleans for the remainder of the season? Like,
dude, it feels
issue after issue.
I just feel like
glad I drafted that guy first overall.
I think Kamara and Cook are really the only guys you start from that team.
Yeah.
I think Traquan Smith can be started in the flex if you're desperate.
Could be.
But
if you're very desperate.
Yeah.
I don't think Latavius Murray's a horrible start either for predicting them to get up and run the ball. And Carolina has statistically the worst rushing defense in the league. I mean, we just saw what Todd Gurley did to them a couple weeks ago. And then how about on the Panther side of the ball? I think that on the Panther side of the ball, it's maybe a little bit more murky. So
Davis must start.
Mm-hmm. Davis must
Teddy
start.
Bridgewater.
Turn it up.
I'd say more than must start.
I think you could stream Teddy B. I mean,
I think Teddy B is definitely one of the more streamable quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I was planning on starting.
I mean, the Saints, their defense is not terrible, but I think he's worth a start this week.
The Saints D? You said?
No, Teddy.
Oh, Teddy, sorry.
Yeah. And I think Robbie Anderson solidified his role as a wide receiver 1 there. Surprisingly, I think he's definitely surpassed.
Definitely
DJ Moore. So I think you can start both Moore and Anderson there. Curtis Samuel now. Their defense now.
I think that's really all we got for that game there.
Yeah. I mean, pretty expectable game there. We got the Jets hosting Buffalo. Should be a terrible game. Buffalo's gonna blow them out.
Just start every Buffalo player, and then
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you have Gore, I guess, and then Crowder.
I would start Crowder this week.
Yeah.
Crowder has been like low key really good in the games he's played. He's got over double-digit targets in each game. I think he's almost gotten over 100 yards receiving in each game. He's got 2 touchdowns, and he's only played 3 games. So I think Crowder's in a sleeper because he's been producing, but I think he's severely underlooked just because he's on the Jets.
I think you definitely start Crowder. In the flex at least.
Because Buffalo's defense is terrible. I mean, you have to remember that. So
I think that's about it. I mean,
the Jets only Crowder, really, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
For the Bills, what do we think about that running game over there? I mean,
I think you.
Jacob, you noted that. Go ahead.
I know that the Bills are playing the Jets, but I don't know. Like, what have we seen from Devin Singletary this year that would like make us be excited to start him ever? Like he's been pretty bad.
You're not.
I don't think you start anyone from that.
He's not a 3-down back.
Diggs and
He's not a 3-down back, and he's not like the biggest guy either. So when he takes those first and second down carries, he just can't do much.
He's not in on the goal line. Yeah,
Diggs,
there's 1 touchdown this year.
Diggs, Josh Allen, and Beasley if you're desperate on buys. Or not, maybe not even desperate, but
I think you can roll out Beasley.
Yeah, I think you can roll out Beasley with buys. And
Beasley hasn't been terrible. I mean, he's definitely more valuable in PPR leagues. He did score a touchdown last week, I believe.
Yeah, and John Brown rolled out too. So more targets. And start their DST, please. Please start their DST.
Yeah, I mean, any team that's playing the Jets, you're going to start that defense. Even though the Bills' defense is not good, I mean, you're still going to start them just because it's the Jets. So definitely.
On Dallas, Washington. Gross game.
Yeah, that game's going to be quite awful.
I think.
I will not be watching that game.
Sorry. I'm gonna cringe if that game even makes an appearance on Red Zone. Who knows if it will? So I think
it won't.
You're starting Zeke. You're starting Lamb. You're starting Amari. I think you're okay with starting Gallup. I don't think you're ecstatic, but I think you can. I think you can do it, and especially in the flex or if you have buys or something, you just think he could have a okay game.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm there with Gallup. I mean, he 2 catches last week.
Yeah, and
4 catches the week before, but mostly garbage time. I don't know. That's another guy. It's like
only person I'm confident in starting on Dallas is Zeke, even though he has 5 fumbles on the year. So
does he really? I didn't even realize that.
5 fumbles on the year. Yeah.
I'm pretty comfortable starting Lamb and Cooper.
5.
Person to get his garbage time.
I'm pretty comfortable starting Lamb and Cooper.
They were playing a good opponent, I should say.
Washington's defense isn't terrible. I mean, Chase Young has been tearing it up over there, and I'm pretty sure Dallas is without like 4 of the 5 starting O linemen. So I think the Washington defense is going to be a top streamer this week. I think I'm starting them this week against Robbie.
D-line is scary.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it could be a big game in terms of stacks. So I think you can definitely.
It's going to be a long day for Dalton. You got Jonathan Allen, forget his first name, Chase Young, Kerrigan.
Deron Payne.
Deron Payne. Montez Sweat. I mean, that team's got some pass rushers on that team.
Yeah.
It's a good D-line. They have a pretty solid defense. They just need to figure out the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And they have
if they get a quarterback next year, I kind of like Washington. I think they got a lot of good pieces on that team.
Mm-hmm.
I think, if they had a good free agency and bring in a good quarterback through the draft maybe, I think they could make some noise for the wild card spot or spots, I guess now.
To be fair, I think they thought that was going to be Haskins, but that didn't really work out. Speaking of just gonna say, I mean, what are we doing on that side of the ball? Like, are we rolling out Gibson?
Yeah.
I honestly kind of really like McKissick in PPR leagues.
Mm-hmm.
6 catches in his last 3 games, I think, in all 3 of them.
Yeah, I agree. And I think really both him and Gibson are probably startable, just considering what we watched Kenyon Drake do on Monday Night Football. And I think,
dude, that guy was just,
you know,
he was just running through wide open holes. There was not a single person there.
Yeah.
And career games for both of them.
Mm-hmm. And you're starting Terry McLaurin. I really hope you don't have to start Logan Thomas. He did catch a touchdown last week.
Dude,
we talked a little bit about their defense.
I held him for like 4 weeks, and then I dropped him.
Luke was trying to sell high on Logan Thomas.
He had like 8 and 9 targets the first 2 weeks. I was like, who's this guy? I'm like, hold on. And then
I got a question. Does Dwayne Haskins ever play another snap for the Washington football team?
No.
I don't think so.
No? Ever a starter again in the NFL?
No, I think if you're a team like,
You think he's done?
I'm a Patriots fan, so if I'm a Patriots fan or like a fan of the Patriots, I mean obviously I am, but I'm interested in bringing Haskins behind Cam because I think he has a higher upside than Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer, and like just as insurance.
How did we get to the Patriots right now?
I'm just because he brought up Haskins and he said NFL again. I think
it's crazy fast how they gave up on him.
He was the 14th overall pick, or I think that was what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know he got
2 years ago
a little bit, but
just last year.
Last year, because it was a Daniel Jones draft.
It was. Yeah.
Dude, they gave up on him quick.
So I think if you're a team with a good organization and good coaching staff, I think you bring him in as a backup and like a Jameis Winston type thing was the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
I think you
should take a flyer on that.
Exactly, someone like that.
Yeah. So moving on to the Houston Texans hosting the Green Bay Packers, and before I let Luke say his statistic for this game, I just want to say I really want to watch this game. I think this is one of the games that I just feel like you could see it being like a 42-38 type of just a barn burner. This one's going to be fun, I think. So, Luke, you want to jump into your stat about Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson?
Certainly. Yeah. So, before the notorious B.O.B., not the rapper, got
not butter on both sides.
Not butter on both. When Bill O'Brien got fired, the first 4 games that Deshaun Watson was playing, he averaged 273 passing yards a game, 1.5 touchdowns, 14.5 rushing yards, and then only 18.37 fantasy points per game. And then the 2 games after B.O.B. got fired, he averaged almost 70 more passing yards per game. He had 3.5 touchdowns per game, almost 40 rushing yards per game, and he's almost at 30 fantasy points per game. So my question is that because of the strength of schedule the first 4 games? I mean, is it because of Bill O'Brien being fired and Watson being freed? I mean, I think it's a combination of both. I think Watson looks like he's actually having fun again playing quarterback. He's not being wasted, even though they did lose to the Titans, but they stayed in that game till the end. What do you guys think?
I think it's all those combined. Just not necessarily it may not even be something where it's Bill O'Brien actual offense that they're running or plays they're calling, but
just the culture,
just the feeling. The feeling of having him there, and everyone knew it was a matter of time, and it just wasn't working. So it just when was it going to happen? I think that I think that's helping a lot, actually. I mean, those stats are undeniable.
And look how they're using Brandon Cooks, or how much more he's getting involved the past couple of
years. Yeah, Cooks is balling out in those 2 games since.
So is Is that something with Bill O'Brien, or is that just something they're realizing? I don't know.
I think it's more heavily weighed on the first 4 games against the defense that they played because, I mean, they played the Chiefs, who have a good secondary. They played the Ravens. They played the Steelers, which are top 2 defenses, honestly. And then I forget the other game that it was, but
well, they had the Chiefs. And another thing you have to understand with Brandon Cooks is that guy bounces around a lot in this league, and normally he's able to produce and pick up an offense, really quickly. But you need to understand that, like, this offseason was different, and so now we're seeing it in week 6. Maybe he gets it. Now we're a little bit farther along.
Did you know that he's only 26?
I did not. It feels like he's 30, honestly.
He's younger than OBJ.
And the crazy thing is, I'm pretty sure he's one of the, if not the only player to have over 1,000 receiving yards with 3 different teams.
Yeah,
everywhere he goes, he produces.
He just balls out. I mean,
it was really just the concussion issues.
Yeah.
I was really saying it was worrying.
So I think Watson is a start and forget now. I don't think
absolutely
he should have been starting the season. He wasn't as good as everyone thought he was going to be. But as of recently, he's been balling out. So I think he's definitely a start. What do we think about Cooks and then I guess Fuller?
Yeah, you're starting those guys.
Cool. Starting both of them with confidence.
In this matchup,
Will Fuller.
Yeah, definitely. Will Fuller's definitely the number 1 wide receiver in that.
I'm pretty comfortable with both.
Yeah.
Especially this week.
What about the notorious David Johnson?
Jay.
The poor man, Todd Gurley of this year.
I think you're starting him in the flex.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you're hoping for a big performance and some increased trade value.
I mean, if you look at his stats, he's had, I'm pretty sure, over double-digit fantasy points in every game except for one, and that's like
no, he's been good.
Flex.
Those crazy. I mean, he's getting the touches. He just isn't really doing much with them unless he gets to the outside. And of course, the kind of player that he is.
Important thing.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of player he is, you need to get him in space and throw him the ball, but they don't really do that. They run him up the middle every first and second down.
I think you're starting David Johnson. I mean, you have Jonathan Taylor on by the Ravens running backs.
He just has
with this game, it's like he'll score probably, for all the points that are going to happen, he's probably going to score, and he's probably going to catch 3 or 4 passes because they're probably going to be losing. So he's a goal line back. You probably roll him out. I think probably the more interesting part of this is we saw the tight end Fells have an interesting last few weeks here without Jordan Akins, the other tight end. He's been out with a concussion and also an ankle injury. And so I'm just thinking he hasn't practiced this week. Is Fells a guy that we're pretty, maybe excited isn't the right word, but that we're pretty interested in starting with the absence of Akins?
I think so.
He scored a touchdown and gotten over 50 passing or receiving yards in the last 2 games. So
I feel like if you watch the Texans over the years, whether it's Atkins, Fells, even Steven Anderson at one point, I feel like they've always had tight ends that like you wonder why they don't use more.
Yeah.
They like to vulture a lot.
Weird. Yeah.
It's because Watson just likes to run around and look downfield, I think, for the most part. So
yeah. I feel like when you watch the Texans, it's like at least one tight end scores every week. It's just kind of a matter of guessing, who it is. But but if Akins is out of the lineup, then it's probably going to be Fells. So, so how about the Packers side of the ball? You're starting Aaron Jones, barring health.
I popped up on the injury report.
He should play. I think it's a mild calf strain.
Yeah.
Packers management is pretty conservative. I mean, they held Devontae Adams even though you felt he could play. They held him out an extra 2 weeks. I'd still
Well,
think he'd play, but you never know with the Packers.
I think as long as he's good to go, you start Jones, you start Adams, you start Rodgers. I'm not starting MVS.
Not Tunyon.
I think is he back to full health?
I don't think he's at full health, but are you starting him anyways? You have to.
I
will say.
I think he's streamable.
How weak tight end is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just seems like he's been hobbled the past couple games.
Yeah. I
think
think
it's a good thing to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
Versus
it's
Alexander.
like when you.
I think based on your tight end situation, you're open to it though.
Yeah. I think like realistically, like Rodgers is going to throw multiple touchdowns. One of them's probably going to go to Adams. One of them might go to a running back, and there might be one that goes to either MVS or Tawny, and we just don't know which one it's going to be. So that's probably it for that game.
You guys want to move on to KC Denver?
Yeah.
Since
Sure.
Seattle Arizona got moved.
Yeah, you want to break that down further, Bobby?
I mean, obviously Mahomes. I think you start Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or as Bobby calls him, Chess.
Rivera.
So yeah, I think you start him this week because I don't know how much they're going to get Bell involved early.
I don't think he can play this week, can he?
I thought he could.
He has to go through the protocols. I think he has to wait one more week.
Oh, I thought he was doing that last week. I thought it was 5 days.
Yeah, I thought so too. But let me fact check that real quick.
Yeah.
But even if he is playing, I think you're starting him.
I mean, I was never high on him. And then with the Bell signing, once Bell's into that offense, like given a couple weeks, that just backfield's just gross. They're going to be like third, fourth, fifth options in the end zone every week.
Yeah.
I just don't like that.
I think you start Clyde one more week.
If Tyreek Hill's struggling for targets, I'm not trusting that backfield.
Yeah. Yeah, as Jacob noted, Clyde is averaging only 4 catches a game and hasn't even reached 100 receiving yards in any game, which is kind of like his staple.
I mean, Clyde's look good, though. It's just they don't like.
I mean, Tyreek?
Tyreek has had 4 catches a game.
No, Tyreek, I wouldn't panic on. Andy Reid's too smart of a head coach. He knows the talent he has there.
I think they probably start getting him more involved on screen passes, slants, and around, stuff like that to get him more involved as this trend continues.
I don't know if
the
it was
best guy in
last
the NFL, so.
Or the week before. I think it was against the Raiders where he had like a 60-something yard touchdown called back. And it's just been, I mean, he catches that. We're not really having this conversation because you're that one back week.
You're starting Hill. That's just a given.
Yeah.
One guy I like sometimes, especially whenever Watkins is out, is I like Robinson.
Over Hardman.
I don't love him, but I just he's a good receiver. I think he's underrated.
We do Robinson or Hardman? Which one?
I'm going Robinson there.
Yeah, I think
Hardman.
I'm really surprised you don't get Hardman more involved.
I mean, with Hardman, you're just looking for that 50-yard touchdown, or it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, aside from Watkins, all 3 of those receivers are the exact same skill set.
I think I'll go Hopkins, or I'm sorry, I'll go Hardman in that situation. Robinson's probably going to catch more passes. He'll probably catch 4 or 5 balls, but just not really sure what the upside is with him. Hardman he's either going to have like 0 points or he's going to, like you said, he needs 1 touch and it could be a 50-yard touchdown and that could win you your week. So I'd rather try to see if I can cash in on that.
Yeah.
That's a risky play. It depends on how. It depends on how good your team looks.
I think one thing to note for this week is the game is in Denver, and I think there's a chance of snow and relatively high winds.
It's supposed to snow. I think it's supposed to snow.
It's showing snow from what I was reading.
Then maybe Clyde is a start.
I think Clyde is a
good
definite
start.
start. I mean, he looks good. Like he got so many carries last week. I think he's second in overall yards this year, behind Derrick Henry.
His yards after contacts, like I think top 5 in the league right now.
I don't understand the Bell move. I just don't.
I think it was an overreaction to the Raider loss. I don't know.
It might be.
Maybe.
Dude, I just don't get it.
I mean, you have moves like AB where you're like, obviously they didn't need that, but you understand like adding at that position with running back. Why are you adding a guy to? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, just think it from like an NFL perspective. Like if you're getting Bell for what does his cost? It was like $6 million left on his thing or something.
I don't think the Chiefs are paying much of it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a very low risk move.
Why not?
It's low risk.
There's no point in not doing it. Just another factor.
I think what's the name of the offensive coordinator? Bahimi.
Eric
So the big factor Bell's in the play is that he can be a mentor to Chad. I mean, they have similar skill sets. Both excel at catching. Not really
as a fantasy owner.
Yeah. But for fantasy purposes, I don't like.
Yeah.
Football move is not a bad move.
Yeah. I mean, Chet really solidified his spot with that showing last week. So I guess we'll have to see.
I don't want to start anyone from the Broncos offense. Not a single person.
I know you don't want to. I don't think anyone wants to. But are we? Yeah.
I think Fant could be a low-key start at tight end. He's coming back from his ankle injury.
They have
a snow game.
I feel like the Honey Badger will be on him, though.
Fant's a stud.
Yeah, I agree.
Fant is good. I mean.
But I feel like the Honey Badger will be on him. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't.
What defenses? Is the Chiefs' defense worth a start?
I think so.
It might be.
I think the
in a low-scoring game,
and especially in the snow, it's not going to get much better.
Yeah,
I would
any snow game, you're going to start a defense. If it's well, you're not going to start the Broncos against the Chiefs, but
all right.
Feeling really bold, maybe.
On to the reunion game.
We'll let you go with that, Logan. It's all yours. Take it away.
A reunion game for Jimmy G? I don't know. I think. What do you guys think about Cam? Because I feel like he's still a good start, honestly.
I don't know. The statistic in front of me isn't supporting that argument, but
I see those passing stats, but his running ability.
He's got the running upside.
He's getting like a touchdown a game rushing, and he's getting like 50 yards a game. It feels like.
Yeah.
I mean,
the statistic that I brought up was that he has less than 200 passing yards in 3 out of the 4 games that he played so far this year. 2 total passing touchdowns in the last 4 games. So I think for fantasy purposes, Logan, as you noted, the rushing is what saves him. He's not known to, air out the ball a ton. But I think more importantly, how does his lack of passing volume impact, say Julian Edelman, or if you want to throw a dart and starting to kill Harry, or even the pass catching running backs? Like I'm not really sure we're going to be confident starting any of them.
For the sake of your team, I hope you're not starting to kill Harry.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the wide receivers in New England are worth a start. I mean, their offense is pretty horrendous this year, aside from Cam and I mean, really no one else.
I'm low on Edelman because Edelman's type of play fit perfect with Brady. Timing, anticipation. Mm-hmm. Cam doesn't do that very well. He just doesn't. It doesn't fit Edelman.
I think that I've obviously as a Patriots fan, I pay attention quite heavily to what's going on, and all the film reviews showing that there are people open, that it was just a bad game for Cam, and you wonder if that has to do something with the COVID layoff, because not only did the team not practice for a week, but Cam was out for 2 weeks, so that's a long time to miss practice. So, I mean,
I just
you can wonder. What was that?
So I said Cam's never really been an efficient quarterback, and with the weapons in
Yeah.
New England, it's not doing him any favors. I mean, Brady struggled last year with that. And
I don't think he necessarily has to be efficient to be good fantasy-wise, though.
No, not
For
efficient,
him,
but
at least.
it brings the passing down a lot. So you're counting a lot on like the rushing touchdowns.
Definitely for guys like Edelman or Harry, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry's not a starter, period.
No,
I don't touch Harry.
Yeah.
I was intrigued after that Seattle game, but it's looking like that was an outlier. So
I don't think you can start Edelman against the 49ers defense. This game's not going to be very fun to watch, I don't think.
I think I think in PPR, if you're on buys or need a flex, I think you're somewhat comfortable with White.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm not
I think
really
White
very
is going to be the only guy.
I don't think you start Damian Harris.
I love James White, man. That guy's just awesome.
Yeah.
He's always been my go-to plug and play if a running back went down on our bye week.
I think he's the only reliable guy in that
Yeah.
New England offense. What about the 49ers? Who we starting there? Garoppolo,
I would
George Kittle, obviously.
Kittle for sure, obviously, yeah.
I would.
I mean,
Really?
Patriot rush defense has been good.
It's just Garoppolo. Obviously, Belichick knows him. I'm not saying he has the secret to all the things that make him suck or anything like that, but I think he knows what he likes to do, and he knows what Shanahan likes to do with him. I think on the average, New England teams are more prepared for like things like end arounds or things like trick plays, things to get stuff for like Ayuk and Debo. I think they're more keen to stop those types of plays.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's going to be a really tough day for Jimmy G. I mean, Belichick knows how to make people struggle. And like Jimmy G, not very the most multi-dimensional quarterback. I think it's going to be a rough day.
Jimmy G got benched like after the second quarter.
I think
weeks ago,
I think it could absolutely be a 21-17 football game.
Yeah,
it's not going to be.
I think you're starting Kittle. You're not starting Jimmy G. I don't really think you start. You don't start
anyone but Kittle.
I think you can start McKinnon.
Yeah,
I
With
think
most
you
strength.
can. I don't feel great about it though.
Yeah.
No. Might
So
score.
in this game, I think you're starting Kittle. I think you're starting James White if you need, and I think you're starting Cam.
That's probably it. Ugh.
That's about it.
not
Maybe
a great
the Patriots
offensive
defense.
game there.
Maybe the Patriots defense.
Maybe.
And even maybe the 49ers defense, honestly, if you need one of those.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the Los Angeles Chargers hosting the Jaguars. A quick little player highlight here. Keelan Cole, averaging 6.3 targets a game, which has led to 4.5 receptions per game and about 60 yards. He scored in half his games this year, 3 out of 6. I guess really kind of my question to you guys, just a quick yes or no. Are we buying in? Or is this for real?
I buy into that guy every 3 weeks.
It seems like it, right? Yeah.
I can't buy it.
I can't trust him.
I don't think
Until
you
it's
can trust
like
anyone there. I mean,
yeah, maybe Robinson. That's about it.
I mean, other than Robinson, like DJ Chark has been very underwhelming this year, which is very unfortunate because he's on my team. Besides this 1 week where he had like 20 points and 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this week I'm in the dilemma. Do I start Chark for the upside? Do I start Robbie Anderson for the safer
I think you
floor?
go Anderson there.
I've been going back and forth. I mean,
Yeah, I think you go Anderson
I think it's
too.
definitely Anderson there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think really just
about.
Robinson's the only guy you start on that team, and you don't even feel great about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Minshew's been underwhelming as well. Really hit or miss.
Just a very limited quarterback.
Yeah, he's
team is
limited
just not
and
good.
Doesn't have the arm.
I don't get it. offense is a lot of good players.
Yeah,
I think just Minshew holds him back.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I know he has those highlight plays where he escapes the pocket and stuff, but he cannot extend the field. He's not really talented, exceptionally talented in anything he does. He's just pretty much average at a lot of things.
I think obviously Herbert's becoming a must start.
Yeah.
he's a beast, man.
Hey.
He's really shown his.
You remember my pre-draft hype on Herbert? I was big on that guy.
I don't remember that. But I'll give
Oh,
you the
don't
benefit of the
give me
doubt.
that. Logan knows damn well that I was a big Herbert guy.
Maybe.
Or quarterbacks. Woo, that guy's a stud. And I hate to say
Okay,
this.
Oregon quarterbacks have a history. We're not going to act like it's not true.
I'm not saying they don't, but
Talking
Herbert's
about
built
Mariota or
6'6" cannon, dude.
Okay. So you start Herbert. I think you start Justin Jackson, Josh Kelly.
I don't know.
Nah, dude, you're starting Justin Jackson, okay?
I think
He
can
popped up on
start
the injury
both of them.
report.
Hey, all right. If he's cleared to play, I'm still starting him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jaguars defense is toast. So.
I guess you have to start him, but I think there's a good chance that he either is limited or maybe re-injures himself, and Kelly gets a little more carries.
Yeah.
So Kelly?
I don't think you start Kelly because you're
No, I think you need to see
on the opposite side. You're banking on that stuff to happen.
Yeah. So I think you start Keenan Allen.
Absolutely.
You start Hunter Henry based on the tight end position. I think really the only other two questions are you start Mike Williams.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Interesting.
I think he's low end flex for the upside only.
Yeah. He might catch a deep bomb.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather start Mike Williams or OBJ?
OBJ.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
OBJ easily.
And I think they're similar, but that's what's scary is that that shows you my confidence in OBJ.
Against the
I think
Jaguars
they're similar,
defense,
but
Herbert, I think there's a better chance of Mike Williams having a big game than OBJ having a big game.
Yeah, I mean, Herbert's definitely more
OBJ's upside
reliable
higher
than
than
Baker.
Mike Williams.
So.
And they're the same type of player, in my opinion.
Yeah. But, dude, Mike Williams, he's a
I think
special receiver.
Yeah, I think he's good. It's just health, really.
The guy, every single play, he's jumping like 6 feet in the air and coming down on his back or his shoulder. Like, he choke slamming every time he catches the ball. So
the thing about
really...
the Chargers, man, they're frustrating. Just purely a football standpoint, the talent on that team, and they just can never really figure it out. Like, that team should be a Super Bowl contending team with the talent. I know they have some injuries, but just the talent. Just look at the defense side of the ball and the offense. That team should be great.
Speaking of defense, I think you can start them, definitely.
I don't know.
I think you can. That secondary is really good.
Secondary's kind of beat up.
Yeah, but I think
that's a desperate play. I think you can, but I wouldn't like doing it.
I just don't trust the Jaguars to capitalize.
All right, let's move on. We all set here? You got one more thing, Logan? Sorry.
No, good.
All right.
Excited for the next one.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you take it away. I forgot. Didn't notice something.
So we got one more. We got a little rescheduling here, right? We got the
Tampa Bay, Las Vegas to 105 instead of Sunday night.
Oh God.
Because obviously
new
Raiders having COVID problems, so higher offensive line, right?
Is Josh Jacobs even startable?
Actually, honestly, now that I think about it, no.
No,
if they're
I don't know.
Are you still starting them?
I don't know.
You have
because that run defense is already
regardless.
Nah, dude. Tampa's defense it's fast, it's hard hitting.
Run defense.
He can still catch balls. He can still catch balls, though.
I don't know. Dude. Tampa's defense. I hate to say it, but I love Tampa's defense.
It's just those linebackers, the defensive line. He's gonna have a tough time even with their entire offensive line playing. They're going to have a tough time getting through that defensive line. And then you talk about out of the backfield, Devin White, Levante Davis. I mean, I've watched every Patriots, every Bucs game this year. That Levante David is literally just running down running backs all game long. It's insane. That guy is so good.
Shaq Barrett
So,
coming
I don't
off
know.
the edge.
All right, should we address the elephant in the room on the Tampa Bay offensive side?
Ooh.
Big news today, bombshell. AB coming out of retirement.
I like the quotes.
Let's let the viewers know that I picked this guy up 2 weeks ago.
And I held him for 4 weeks and then dropped him because Chubb and Thomas both got injured. My first
I
two
picked this
picks.
guy up 2 weeks ago before any rumors that he was even getting looked at team. And I feel like a genius. I'm just going to say it. I feel like a genius because he was going to go to the Packers, the Seahawks, or the Bucs. I mean, I can't lose in that situation. And this guy, I mean, people say he's been out of the league for a little while, I guess, but I mean, he had 1 week of practice with the Patriots last year before they played that game against Miami. And I mean, I guess it's against Miami, but the dude, he had 57 yards and a touchdown, I think. And that was with 1 week of practice in the Patriots offensive system, which is like, that's
Brady
not
already
a system
trusts
you
him.
learn.
Brady
Dude,
already
he
trusts him. That's all that
He's
matters.
been going to bat. He's been going to bat for him for how long now? Like, he's been trying to get him on the team. So I think there's a chance he becomes the number 1 in that offense. I'm not gonna lie.
This dude
No.
was devastating.
That's a hot take, dude. You gotta put the shades on for that one, dude.
I don't
No
know.
way.
Oh, my shades are in my
Kind of
car. This
hoping
is
member of Raiders offensive line has a quick chat with Antonio Brown, maybe about a mask to help my Mike Evans stock go back up. But I'm happy for Brady. I'm happy he got another weapon.
How are you?
He was kind of lacking. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he had very
I
limited
agree.
weapons.
They really do have a lot of injuries with that wide receiver core this year, though.
If Brady doesn't win this year, it's a massive disappointment. Massive.
If he doesn't win what?
Great. The Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl?
Great defense. How many weapons does he need? What's the weakness on the Tampa Bay team right now?
The
What's the week-
Super Bowl with his first year on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think it was
He's
the
the
Tampa Bay
GOAT.
Buccaneers.
He's the GOAT.
All right.
Exactly. That's why they're going to
Okay, let's get back on track here.
We'll say that for later, man. All right.
So
But I think
start
Brady's a
sits for
start.
the Bucs.
Yeah, who we start? I think we can
I'm
start.
starting Brady.
I think we can start the entire offense on
I'm
the
starting
Buccaneers.
Evans
I
out of
mean,
spite.
I mean, even
starting-
Gronk is startable now in a way.
He is now.
Like,
I mean, watching him last
definitely-
week,
he's not like
It was
he's not himself, but I think he's definitely made some steps throughout the season so
Even
far.
then,
So
like,
I think
I remember me and Bobby were talking in the chat about how, like, he looks so slow, and then he's doing he's catching balls up the seam, catching these contested catches. I'm like, yeah,
Dude, I
what the
wonder
heck
what his
happened?
40 time is right now.
It's probably not high, but
probably
with his
over 5.
He's
with
just a
his
guy
body-
you throw to.
you just throw it up to him, and he's that kind of body. You just throw it up, you know.
Yeah.
And he's still that catch, like when he was going across the field up the seam, kind of up the seam across the field, when it was just like that was like prime Gronk, dude.
I'm sorry.
I haven't seen that in a while.
If you're a linebacker or a safety and you line up across from Gronk, you can't tell me, even with his diminished skill, that they're still not a little intimidated seeing him on the other side. It's Gronk.
I mean, it's Gronk.
He's a
and
behemoth on the other side.
for years, it's been you can't cover him with a corner because he's too big, and you can't cover him with a linebacker because he's too fast. That's something scary.
Who wins a matchup, Isaiah Simmons or Gronk?
Right now,
Right now.
I mean, I'd probably go Gronk because Simmons isn't even
Ooh.
playing that much.
I mean, Simmons, they're not using him right. They're using him in weird packages. Weird.
So we're starting Brady. We're starting the pass catchers, right? Evans, Godwin, and I think you can roll out Gronk. I think Ronald Jones is a really solid start. He hasn't done anything
Rojo.
that would suggest otherwise.
He's got 3 straight games of over 100 rushing yards, and he's the only one in the NFL to do that this year. I'm pretty sure, which is
Dude,
mind blowing because
I don't know
He's
about
good.
you guys. I
Yeah,
never realized just how big Rojo was.
He's a big guy.
He's a big guy. Like I always thought
I
he was
feel
like
like
kind of small little back, but no, he's big. He's gonna
He
be
put
a
on
pretty-
weight this
me or-
offseason.
Did he? Because like I feel like when he came in the league, he was smaller.
dude. He's
He did.
he's good. I
He's
love
a
Rojo.
beast, but he's so like just as a non like fantasy thing, like watching the Bucs, like he's always bouncing around, and I feel like that fumble is just always up in the air, or that ball is always up in the air, and it's just asking for a fumble.
Bounce for a fumble.
Scares me.
Maybe.
I think
Maybe.
LaShawn McCoy should be taking some major touches in the backfield. The guy still got some in the tank. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Please don't start Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, are you worried about Fournette taking away some stuff from Rojo?
Dude, if they take stuff away from Rojo,
Yeah,
that's just
exactly.
stupid.
Then that's a bad team. That would be a horrible coaching.
I wouldn't be
team.
surprised if Bruce Arians does it.
No,
I don't-
I wouldn't either. But I like to believe that coaches are smart and that they're going to make the right decisions. And
I feel like Brady is the key because Arians will do anything Brady tells him to do. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Ownership will make sure he does.
Brady is the head coach over there.
No, anything Brady says goes.
As
He's like
Fournette is-
LeBron.
Fournette is just so ambiguous this year. Like he broke off that like 20-point game, he had that like 50-something yard touchdown like week 2 or 3, and everyone's like, "Yep, that's what's gonna happen." Like after a few weeks, Fournette's gonna get in the offense. He's gonna be the starting running back, and then he gets hurt, and Rojo goes off, and now Fournette's coming back this week. It's just like you know
So-
Rojo's gonna be the guy, but Fournette's just
Yeah.
always in the back of your mind, which I think is concerning. Like you just don't know.
I think the defense is absolutely a must start this week for as far as defenses
Mhm.
go.
Yeah, I think we can keep it pretty simple with the Raiders too. I think regardless of offensive line, you're starting Jacobs and you're starting Waller, and
Yep.
I think
that's
that's
it.
That's about it.
So how
Ruggs is
about
back, but
the new?
against the Tampa Bay, it's just
No,
I think Ruggs is
you need
something to
see more
watch
from
for
him.
the future, though.
yeah.
Mhm. So how about the new Sunday night game? We got Seattle and Arizona that was moved
I think
from
that's
the
gonna be a
1
very
o'clock
fun
slot
game.
to the 5
Yeah,
o'clock
I
slot.
think it's going to be definitely the most anticipated game this week.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel
Yeah,
like the
obviously starting
entire,
Russ.
Cap is-
Russ, Carson, Lockett, Metcalf, all startable
Yeah.
start and forget. Lockett is a little
Yeah.
concerning though, as of recently. Jacob noted that he's only got 6 total catches for 83 yards in the last 2 games. Even though the first 3 weeks he had an average of 8 receptions per game. Clearly DK has solidified his role as wide receiver 1 there. Is Lockett still a must start? I think he's definitely still a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside.
I think you start him.
I
Yeah, you do.
think you're definitely rolling him out no matter what. I think David Moore might be a sleeper play this week because Arizona's secondary is pretty good. They're definitely going to have a lot of eyes on Metcalf and Lockett. So I think David Moore could sneakily get like one of these big plays, maybe even a touchdown.
He dropped like a 50-yard touchdown against the Vikings.
More?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think I have Moore starting in a few of my DraftKings lineups this week because he's super cheap.
Yeah.
I wonder
Defense.
what the cornerback situation is going to be lining up against
I think you go
Seattle.
Patrick Peterson.
on
Patrick Peterson for Metcalf.
dude, but I mean, I feel pretty
Metcalf is
comfortable with
kind of matchup
Metcalf
proof.
burning Brad P.
I just don't think anyone else can physically handle him.
And
Yeah,
Byron
Metcalf.
Murphy, Metcalf is a nightmare, dude. The speed, the size.
That guy is just
He's matchup proof, really.
this year he's improved as like a wide receiver. Like he hasn't improved as an athlete anymore. It's just his like
His hands.
technical stuff as a receiver.
He just catches
Like,
everything.
Yeah.
Like Russ just chucks it to him, and he just trusts him 1,000%.
Yeah.
Like,
I
he'll
feel like
just
last
lock it.
year feel like last year he went deep or he did a curl route. And this year I feel like he's doing a lot more.
Yeah.
And I think they're just giving him more opportunity as well to go get contested catches as well as just deep balls. Yeah. Especially, I think he's gonna. They should just over and over just go to him in the red zone. That's what they should be doing.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely the number one target of the red zone over there.
Yep.
He's down.
So let's get this moving along a little bit too. So I think you're starting all your Seahawks. I think you're starting your Cardinals for the most part. You're starting Kyler, you're starting the Hopkins. I think Kirk, you could probably roll in there in this matchup. Yeah. Not the worst. Edmonds and Drake.
I think you start Drake, and if you have Edmonds,
you're starting Drake.
You're really
purely on volume. Yeah, you're starting Drake purely on volume. I mean, he's getting 15 to 20 carries a game. If he's not doing much with it, oh well. He's still getting them. Last week you saw he still has that playmaking ability with that like 50-something yard touchdown that he broke off. And,
throw both defenses in the trash and just move on.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I mean, Cardinals, you could usually start them, but not against Seahawks. They have definitely like top.
Not against that man.
Offense.
Was Jamal Adams worth 2 first-round picks?
Nope.
Okay, so last game. Monday Night Football.
I guess this isn't that bad, but I find it just gross.
Yeah, this game's going to suck.
I've never been into the Rams.
The Rams just totally reshaped their offense this year. They went from a primarily passing attack to running the ball way more.
Very boring.
Yeah, exactly. I think I was interested in Gurley in 2018, not the Rams.
Yeah, definitely. Gurley was the highlight.
Like, he was just so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about let's stay on that Ram side of the ball, okay? So starter sit Goff in this game.
Sit.
You can start it. Actually, no.
I don't.
Yeah, against the Bears defense. Probably.
I think there was the statistic: the Bears haven't allowed a fantasy QB to score more than like 17 fantasy points this year.
Yeah.
So take that as you will. And Goff is not like he's just Goff. So
I think McVay's going to be super conservative, especially with Goff.
Are you starting?
I think you definitely start Henderson. I think you
can start Henderson. He's definitely. I think Henderson's definitely their number one running back. I mean, Cam Akers was allegedly going to get more carries last game, and he got like 1, I think. So, yeah, Henderson's taking over that role. I don't think Akers or Brown are relevant as of now. Cup has been depressing.
Do you trade him for Mike Evans? I don't know, but I think you start him.
Cup has been depressing, but you're still going to start him, which sucks.
Yeah.
Woods,
you're starting Woods.
You guys should apologize to Brock for his Darrell Henderson, Mike Evans trade.
I'm not no.
Wasn't that bad of a trade?
I don't know.
All right. Higbee and Everett, I don't think you want to start them.
I don't think you want to start either tight end anymore.
Yeah.
Higbee was interesting at the beginning, but no.
Yeah. So how about the Bears? You're not starting Foles.
You're starting A-Rob.
You're starting A-Rob and Montgomery. I think that's about it over there.
I think Graham's definitely startable, depending on who you have.
Yeah, I mean,
score, but that's probably
as
about
it goes. Tight end position.
He hasn't been bad this year.
I think you can roll Graham out there if you don't have anything better, but not my first choice.
Are we starting either of the DSTs?
I think you can roll out
the Bears, definitely.
The Bears, but
I think it's which one? I don't really know which one I want to start.
I would go Bears.
Yeah.
I think I'd be okay with the Rams.
Yeah, I don't think you're worried about them getting you negative points or anything, but I think upside you go Bears.
Bears are going to get at least one pick from Goff.
Yeah.
I think Rams are going to get at least one pick from Foles and a bunch of sacks probably.
I don't have faith in either quarterback.
When it comes to things like sacks, forced fumbles, I think you got Khalil Mack being able to do something.
Aaron Donald.
Yeah, I don't know. Neither are really bad at start.
Well, I think what we're saying is that this game is just really gross, and there's good players on both sides.
It's a must-avoid game. Yeah. Nothing too exciting coming out of there.
Another gross game that everyone will be watching.
Yep. But who knows? It's a Monday night game.
Something to do.
Yeah. All right. Well,
that's about it.
That wraps things up. I know it probably went over a little bit longer than we expected, but hey, I think that's a good thing. Longer than shorter.
Definitely got to work on. We just got to get through it quicker, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but hope you guys enjoyed hearing us spew some beef.
First time, I don't know.
Hope you guys like fantasy. Yeah. So
I don't know. I'm Logan.
Next Friday. If everyone wants to say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Logan. Peace out.
Send your trade suggestions in.
I have the trade genie down there.
You got the trade genie below me right there. You go.
Add trade genie.
That's his at.
It's got 14 followers strong.
Any questions? Give that guy.
Many counting. All righty.
Give that guy a call.